All right, what's your name?
John.
First question is, do you believe in God? And who is God to you?
Yes, I do believe in God, and God is the basis and the foundation of my life.
Describe your relationship with God.
My relationship with God is probably a very normal relationship. It's up and down. It's challenging. I have doubts, but I have deep faith. And my real challenge is to just believe and follow the faith, and don't let the doubts take me down.
Describe how you pray or connect to God.
I am a person of discipline. Try to be a person of discipline. So I wake up every morning and I have a devotional ritual in the morning, and that is my most consistent way to connect to God.
When have you felt closest to God? And have you ever had a profound religious experience, like a moment of conversion or reawakening?
When do I feel closest to God?
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. I think mostly in the most simple of times, or the simplest of things, when you've calmed down and you're paying attention to the things around you. It can happen in the family, it can happen in the house, it can happen driving down the road, and you just look at things and see things and you go, this is what it's all about. So it's very simple things, but you have to pay attention. What was the second part of the question?
Have you ever had a profound religious experience, like a moment of conversion or, say, a reawakening?
I've had many moments of religious experience, but I'm hard pressed to say I've had any earth-shattering, profound moments. Some of the decisions or some of the things I've seen that support my belief in God, you would never know about because they involve you, but you just don't know about.
For some background information, do you belong to a parish or are you a different?
No, I was born and raised Presbyterian.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had a number of journeys through different denominations.
And what denomination are you as of right now?
Presbyterian.
Who do you look up to for their relationship with God? Like, say, a faith hero of some kind.
Two people. Very clearly, two people. My mother, who was very strong, and she was a strong Presbyterian, but she was a strong believer in Jesus Christ. And once I called her and told her we were going to be in the members of the Lutheran Church, and she said, I'd rather have a good Lutheran than a bad Presbyterian. And Pastor Larry Keeney, who was the pastor of the church when we did go to the Lutheran Church, and there were no Lutherans ever in our family or Mom's family, so the Lutheran Church was a complete fluke, but we were driven there by a man of Christ that we really respected, Larry Keeney, who is no longer living.
Which Christian church do you belong to right now?
Grace Presbyterian Church.
Why do you belong to that church?
I belong to that church because of two reasons, really. Three reasons, really. I am born and raised Presbyterian. That's probably the least of the reasons. You were thriving in Grace Presbyterian School and subsequently Grace Presbyterian Youth Group, and I thought that was very important. And then Pastor Mike.
So you kind
with
of
our brothers, with Band of Brothers.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of already answered if you grew up as a Christian.
Hey, we're in the interview process.
Okay, what do you most remember about your faith from your childhood?
Fantastic experience because we belonged to the First Presbyterian Church of Danville. The pastor of the church, before I really remember, was my mom and dad's best friend. But the church was big. We used to run around. It was so comfortable there. And I remember so many Sunday school teachers that were just great people, and I remember them today. And they were fun to be with, they were educational to be with, and they taught me about Christ.
What impacts has your membership in the church had upon you lately?
Because we've traveled and we've been members of several churches, there's not really anything that I can say that's every one of the churches have had a different impact on me. The biggest impact on the church that we belong to now is the experience you and I had together with the Band of Brothers.
What do you think your most important what do you think are your most important obligations as a member of the church?
A lot of people would say that you need to do leadership things or give money, but the most important thing you can do is be a part of the community.
Are you active in the church?
I have been very active in the church. I've had periods of being very active in the church to being not very active, and which means just going to church. And I'm in the part where I just go to church right now.
Have you ever considered working for your church as a minister or other religious person?
No, I have not considered working for my church as a minister or another religious person, but I have been the president of the Congregation of Churches in several different things, and I've led capital campaigns in several different times.
Was it important that you raise your child in your church?
Absolutely. In fact, the story goes that when your mother and I were first married and we were joining a Presbyterian church in New Orleans, it was before we even had kids, and the pastor made a comment to us. He said, most people don't come back to the church until they have kids. So we came back to the church before we had kids. But you and your sister have always been involved in the church.
Did you choose Straight Jesuit for me because of its Christian values? Was that a part of it, maybe?
Of course, it was a part of it. The biggest part of Strake was that we believed that it was a good school. It had Christian values, and that's where you wanted to go. The other school we were looking at had Christian values as well.
Did that matter to you?
Did what matter?
Having the more important Christian values?
Every school you seriously considered had Christian values, so yes, it did matter to me.
All right, that's it. Thank you.